All right, hello everyone. Yes, and welcome to today's episode where I paint models and talk about stuff. All right, so what are we talking about today? So last time I sort of very roughly talked about hobby burnout. I talked about that kind of the difficulty we all face when we've got just a few too many things going on at the exact same time, right? Too many projects, too many competitions, too many commissions, too many everything. Brand new release from Games Workshop. Oh my god, it's a brand new model. I've got to have it. It looks so good. I'd love to have that in my life. Don't need it, but I want it. And it's that kind of trap that we fall into, I think, that's really important to sort of identify. Like the whole YOLO fear of missing out thing, it's a real tangible phenomenon. I think anyone who ever says, "Oh, I've never experienced fear of missing out," they're lying, because fear of missing out comes from the very real experience of having missed out on something. So there's a reason why in the Warhammer 40k sort of world we call them FOMO boxes whenever there's a brand new anything that comes out, whether it's Indomitus or Scaventide or Vermintide or whatever it was called, or the Leviathan box set, whatever it is, we call it a FOMO box because it's that fear of it's a limited time thing, and if I don't get this now, then if I want those models at a later date, then I'm going to have to pay a premium. FOMO. But then that can also apply to other areas. You can get FOMO from not entering a tournament to wanting to arrange a game with a friend, and then for whatever reason they don't show up or you can't attend that tournament, and then you see online that some epic thing happened, or you just think, oh god, I've wanted to play whatever game system. It could be Warhammer, it could be War Machine, Gaslands, Turnip, anything, right? Necromunda, you name it. I've wanted to play that for so long. I don't get that many chances to play that these days. Oh, I have missed out. I've missed out on that opportunity to play that game. That is what actually drives FOMO. It's not the fear of missing out, it's the fear of having missed out. It's when that actually happens, and then the memory that you have of missing out and going, God, I don't want that to happen again. That's what FOMO is. But I think it's safe to say there's a bit more to it than just that. Fear of missing out. I mean, this is a concept that's been bandied around online forever for this current generation. Like it's a very current year thing, isn't it? Fear of missing out. Like companies, organizations, businesses will play off of that fear to monetize it. But let me ask you this, right? Say you're one of the guys that bought Leviathan or bought Indomitus or Scaventide or you name it, whatever the latest product is. Are you still playing with those toys now, all this time later? Are you still playing with those exact models as they came in that box? Not as part of a conversion, not as part of whatever. Are you still playing with those same units in your games? And if not, then why did you need to buy it in the first place? What was it that drove you to pick that up? If you didn't actually need it, but you wanted it, what caused that? What drove that? We live in an age where viral marketing is indescribably powerful. And if you're surrounded by people, if you absorb content and media from people that you like the opinions of, you like the work they do, and they're telling you, you need to buy this, you don't want to be left out, I've got this, GW sent me this early, whatever, you're going to be swept up in that. You're going to want to follow that trend, that craze, that addiction that takes hold, as it were. But the question is, what comes next? Once you have the thing, once you have the models or the box set or whatever, does it actually get used, or does it just languish on a shelf forever, unloved? There's almost an argument to be made. All these people that like hoard plastic kits or whatever, they're just preparing for retirement, right? They're just preparing for the day they retire, and then all of a sudden, that's it. The next 10 years of their life at that point will be set, because they'll have all the models they'll ever need. They'll have all the things to paint they'll ever want. One argument that I don't see as much, but I think is still valid, is the idea that we're going through the boom and bust of a a gaming renaissance at the moment, right? I just want to quickly see what are the big bits. I think I'll probably put a layer of yellow down there just to get that done, because I've got some yellow that's going to go on these side panels. You know, if we're going through a gaming renaissance right now, then what happens when the renaissance ends? Well, all of a sudden there's less companies, there's less games, there's less models being manufactured. So isn't it better to buy all the stuff now while times are good, and then later on, when the prices have increased 5 times as much, all of a sudden you're not going to be swept up in the desperate craze of trying to buy a Space Marine for 50 quid or whatever it is, because you'll already have all the Space Marines you'll ever need. I think the flaw to that kind of logic is no one can really predict the future. I'm still, like a lot of people, I'm still staggered at how popular model making and painting and so on has become over the last few years. Ultimately because I come from a time, as I'm sure a lot of you do, that remember when model making and painting wasn't as popular as it is now. But the reality is, whatever the reason for it, we will buy a lot of models that will then sit on our shelves and do nothing forever. Because it can't all be FOMO. It can't all be, well, because if I don't get it, then I miss out and I don't want to be in that situation. Okay, fine. It can't all just be weak impulse control, because then there wouldn't be a hobby, because people would get into it, gamble away all of their money within the first few weeks, and then that's it. They're out because they've got nothing to sustain them. When I say gamble their money away, it's effectively just impulse buying until you've drained your bank account. What's that old Fresh Prince of Bel-Air joke? Yeah, once I maxed out all my credit cards, I sold our plane tickets.
Hey, so how much are you up?
We're not up, we're down.
What you mean we?
Well, after I maxed out all my credit cards.
Carl, you maxed out all your credit cards?
Well, I had to. I couldn't get full value for the airline tickets.
You hopped our airline tickets?
Well, what do you expect? I only got $200 out of your ATM card. Look, a word to the wise will never leave your PIN number in your wallet.
It's like, yeah, that kind of situation. So let's get that. Try not to get the steps. I tell you what, it's always really hard painting for camera, but you guys don't need to hear me say that. You can see that. I think FOMO comes from the lived experience of having missed out, certainly. And these are experiences that are recent, aren't they? You know, we're slowly getting away from the time where Cursed City was the new hotness and people were going crazy trying to get Cursed City, and it did so well. GW didn't expect how well it did, that they underproduced it, and then of course scalpers descend on it like vultures and they're selling boxes of it 5 times over retail price or whatever. Right, you've got that aspect to it, but I think there's another aspect there as well, something that we don't talk about as much, or something that we don't look at as much, which is the reality of companies being able to capitalize on that. Games Workshop didn't really used to communicate with its buying audience that much. You go on the Dungeons and Dragons website sometime and have a look at their news section. Their news section is dire. They almost never talk about anything. Oh, sure, they've got like links to podcasts and playlists and all the kind of videos that will tell you what's coming out. But in terms of like a weekly or daily kind of news update as to here's behind the scenes at Wizards of the Coast, you go to Magic the Gathering, you'll see that. But actual Dungeons and Dragons website, it's bloody awful. And there's an argument there that's because, yeah, Dungeons and Dragons sell books. They sell books and PDFs. They don't sell physical, tangible media that needs to be produced and shipped and sold on a massive, like, regular recurrence, right? People will buy models more often than they buy Dungeons and Dragons books. It's as simple as that. Because buying a Dungeons and Dragons book is a single one-off purchase. Buying a model is the beginning of several other smaller purchases down the line. So what can you do about FOMO? What can you do about fear of missing out? Let me ask you, right? My longest running trick used to be, if you really, really want something, don't impulse purchase it. Look at it, take a note of it, and then in a month's time come back to it. If it's still, if you still have those feelings like, oh, I really want that unit, I really want that tank, that model, whatever it is, I've got to have it, then chances are you actually genuinely want it, right? That used to be my old litmus test for anything. Now I'm kind of leaning more towards 6 months. If half a year later I still really want something, then yeah, I genuinely actually want that thing. And the reason for that, I think, is because when a company shows you, the new FOMO box, it doesn't just come out instantly, does it? You have to wait weeks and weeks and weeks, months and months and months, and then it comes out, right? And the reason for that is they know that's how to get you. That's how to promote the sales. Hype something up for weeks on end, months on end, then release it, and you've got the audience primed and ready to go in advance. It worked for the return of the Warhammer Fantasy Battle game. It worked for Leviathan, Warhammer 9th edition, 10th edition, 8th edition, you name it. It works because people want to get excited for things. People want to, get really hyped for things. So you have to wait until something comes out and then wait a little bit after that, but then, leave it too long and then you don't get it and then you've missed out. It's a balancing act, isn't it? I've not bought any of that recent stuff. Age of Darkness box set, Leviathan, none of it. And a big part of that is because when I actually look at the contents of the box, yeah, sometimes there's a model that I like and I think, wow, that'd be a nice model to have. But more often than not, I look at it and I go, but I don't actually want or need these things. I desire them because that's how FOMO gets you. It makes you desire things all the time. But actually need them, actually have plans in place to go, yeah, this is the army I'm going to build with these units, these models. That's XYZ, that's why I need to have them. If you ever look up Stillmania, one of the ideas that he put forward is the reality that you could just make a list, build your army to match that list exactly, and then that's it. You never make additions to it. You never make changes to it. You just learn based on the quality of that one list that you wrote however long ago, before you actually played the game. Yeah, because that's how life works, right? You just make one army list and you just perfectly master the game at that one point and make no mistakes the one time you write that list. Yeah, no, sorry, Stillman, I don't subscribe to that theory. But I do subscribe to the idea that there has to be a cut-off point for any project. We will always look at an army roster or a codex and think, God, I could just do with one of everything. But you don't need one of everything. You want one of everything. We all want a chapter of Space Marines, don't we? We all want thousands and thousands of models. But what we don't want is all the hassle that comes with that. We don't want the cost. We don't want the amount of time that it's going to take to paint all that. But we want the finished product. We want the spectacle. It's the old Terry Pratchett saying, if most people who say they want to be authors don't want to actually write, they just want to say that they have written, that they've written a book. They don't want to do the work that goes into writing that book. It's the exact same with model making. Everyone wants to say they've got an army. Everyone wants to say that they've painted a horde of infantry, that they've got that unique thing. No one actually wants to sit down and put the effort in. I think that's part of the reason you get all these people trying to hawk these new painting techniques of slap chop or whatever, of just layering highlights and speed paints and just do it faster. Just do it faster and quicker and get through the painting process, and you don't have to enjoy it. Just do it as quick as you can, get it over and done with, and then you get to the thing that you actually enjoy, which is buying more models. And therein lies the problem, doesn't it? Because if you're not enjoying all the different steps of the hobby, well, the reality is it's probably not the hobby for you, is it? Well, you have to find a different way of engaging with it while still kind of abiding by the social norms. One of the things I've noticed since I started playing Horus Heresy, right? Because I made that effort of painting all my models before I started playing, I immediately appreciated more the fact that other people had done the same, had subscribed to the same kind of belief that you need to finish painting your models before you play the game. That is a massive mountain, I think, a fundamental shift in the philosophy of some of these games where it's like, yeah, just play with whatever, who cares if it's unpainted, just get the stuff on the table and start rolling dice. Like, no, you need to actually follow the steps. You need to actually respect what it is you're doing, because that is the hobby. Well, I've got to decide what I'm doing for this flag here. So, hazard stripes behind it. I suppose I could do an Emperor's Children one. Purple for Emperor's Children. Red for Word Bearers. Oh, have faith, Word Bearer. Go on, let's do it as a Word Bearer's flag from someone that they blew up and took it from. There you go on. I don't think I even know any people in the area that are Word Bearers players, but it makes sense. Little Vindicator from Istvan 3, or Istvan 5. Picked it up off of a dead Word Bearer colleague just as a piss take. Why not? A little tongue-in-cheek nod to the law, because that's what these hobbies are about. They're about having fun. They're not about the incredibly strict sort of, right, you must do these things, you must enjoy it this way. Which, okay, I appreciate that's a bit of a paradox, isn't it? I've just said that if you're going to enjoy the Horus Heresy, you need to paint your models. All right, let's try and consolidate these two things. There's a difference between painting models how you want to paint them and not painting your models at all. There's a difference between building and engaging with the hobby because you enjoy the lore, because you enjoy the history, because you enjoy the challenge. You enjoy the challenge of painting 100 goblins for this goblin horde army, as opposed to, oh, I just want to make a silly, funny meme list that, rolls buckets and buckets of dice. There was a great video I watched not too long ago. I think it was from Heresy, or the Heresy podcast, or something like that, right? And it's the guys talking about the Black Shields list, right? The Black Shields rules for Heresy. And one of the things they talk about is the idea that weapons of desperation, you replace bolt guns and bolt pistols with, say, stub carbines, and because in the hands of an Astartes they count as pistol weapons, you can put out 6 shots per model per Astartes, so a unit of 20 puts out 120 shots. Okay, great. That's still 20 Space Marines that you need to convert and paint up. The meme is there, but you still have to put the effort in to make that meme, that joke, become a reality. And if you do that, more power to you, The difference between talking about it and actually doing it. Do you actually need the new models, or do you just want the new models? Want versus need, that's a massive part of what this breaks down into. Let's paint some of the weapons. I've actually got one of my finished, well, I say finished, I still haven't put the decals on. Like a year later, I still haven't put decals on these. But I've got one of my finished rhinos here just so I can see, right, this is where I paint the black on the guns, on the smoke launchers, on whatever. So I've got that template that I'm going off of. Let me ask you, this is an open question to the chat, right? To anyone in the comments section, anyone watching the video. What is your favourite part of the hobby? It's a real easy question, but what is your favourite part? For me, it's got to be the building, of course. The building, the converting, the making that model unique to myself. But what about you? Do you enjoy the painting more than the building? Do you enjoy the playing the game more than the building and painting? I'm willing to bet a lot of people right now might be questioning what they enjoy about the hobby at all. Because that's a hard pill to swallow, isn't it? When you go, hang about, is there actually anything that I enjoy in this hobby anymore? Have I moved on? And guess what? It's okay if you have. It's okay if your tastes have changed enough that you're thinking about going on to something else. It all comes down to what you enjoy. And it can be painting models, it can be playing the game, it could be reading the lore, the books, the role-playing side of it, anything. Oh, I know people who used to really enjoy the magazine, reading the battle reports in the magazine, because it's thematic, because it's narrative. Oh, there are people right now who play Warhammer, whether it's 40k or fantasy or whatever, and they dress up and play it. It's not something for me, but I understand why they do it. I understand what the appeal is. Anyway, this video is sort of petering out now, isn't it? I think I've made our point of some kind. Anyway, let me know down in the comments down below what your thoughts are and what is your favourite part of the hobby. Has that changed over time? Thank you all for watching, my friends, and I will see you in the next episode.